Boy, wouldn't be basketball be great if you could only talk about the good things like our offense. Wow, our offense was great. It was great. It was elite tonight. I think we shot 55% from the field, 19 assists, only 7 turnovers, high percentage from three. Everything we ran was working. We executed. And you think 3 days ago how stagnant we were against USD, and you say, wow, how could they grow that fast? And it's just concentrated effort and learning what the coaching has to say. Our defense was pretty good. It was our rebounder that betrayed us. So I don't know how many more shots they got from the field than us, maybe 13, 14 more, 17 offensive rebounds. So we work on rebounding every day, but we have to have better buy-in or we have to have better rebounders on the floor, one of the two. So we have to find a way to turn really good defense into possessions for us. So we've known that was an issue, and it's just young bigs. We got young bigs that have to get better every day, and then the guards got to help clean some of that up. But a lot of long shots, the ball was bouncing everywhere, and we weren't the first to the ball. So I'd say the only negative in the game was rebounding. Other than that, I thought our initial defense was really good. Thought our offense was as good as it's been all year. And we didn't fold. Other teams make runs on you. It's college basketball. We didn't fold. We found a way to get the ball in without turning it over against press. And we've seen how that happened in the past. We've lost games where we couldn't handle pressure. We handled pressure. We got to the foul line. And I know Nick probably felt bad he missed the 2 he did, but Byrd closed the game with free throws, and so we closed the game. So there was way more good than bad. And I'm pleased with our effort, and I'm excited to have 10 days to see if we can grow this team into something special.
Coach, Miles said that part of the team's culture is the ability to wear down teams, and obviously they came back at the end, but there was a stretch there where it did seem like you guys really wore them down, just like traditional Aztec teams have done over the years. Is that something that you look for in recruiting? I mean, how do you get so many new players to carry on a culture that you've been doing for a long time?
It's just the depth. We've talked about that, and we went 10 deep today because we put DeMarche in when the game was on the line. We just felt he's been so good in practice, and we thought he could fill a need for us, and he did. So we're deep. And most teams they'll play that many guys, but the performance falls off. Our performance doesn't fall off when we go to the bench. I think the bench is what extended the run. I think that's when we went on our biggest run when the guys off the bench were in. And so we've got 10 productive players that are playing right now, and Chemo's good enough to be on the floor too. But we just haven't had minutes for him. So we're deep and we're talented. So now we just have to keep working to get better.
EJ's had such a hot start. He's had 2 or 3 games now where he's been completely shut down. What's going on with him, and is he sort of starting to see what it's like to be, at the top of the scouting report?
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple tough games offensively, but I just know who BJ is, and we could roll it out against Cal, and he might put 24 up. That's how talented he is. So everybody was down on Heide, and then he was great against USD and better tonight. So that's basketball. Every night's not your night, but if you keep working hard and you put effort into it every day, then you're eventually going to be rewarded. It's not instantly, but BJ works every day, and he was rewarded early, and he'll be rewarded again if he keeps working the way he is.
Have you noticed teams starting to try to take him away after what he did early in the season, how well he was scoring the ball?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the way we're shooting the ball now, we're not getting all these rolling post baskets if we're not shooting the ball, because they're going to drop everybody in the paint and take away the rolling post. But they're so worried about our ability to shoot the ball. That's why these posts are rolling and are getting wide open layups, because they're staying extended on the shooters. So they have to pick and choose. Maybe we'll run into a game again where they'll say, boy, we can't let those posts roll in and score. We got to bring a guard in and tag that roll. And then we'll kick it out and shoot threes again. So we're dangerous offensively. So we have to continue to play for each other like we did tonight with 19 assists and grow our game.
Hey, Brian, you mentioned you guys are shooting much better this year. Is it just a case of you guys having better shooters, or are you doing something a little different on offense to free those guys up?
I think we're spreading the floor more this year than we did last year. Obviously, last year everything ran through Jane Ledee in the post, and we threw it in a lot and had great success doing that. But this team, we're not throwing as many post-ups. We're hitting the posts on the roll. Occasionally we'll throw it in there, but we're playing more perimeter offense and downhill with the drive and kick for threes.
Coach, you mentioned Heide and his play. When you're giving up so many offensive rebounds and the momentum that goes with that, what did his performance tonight do with his ability to get those rebounds and to bring that momentum back to you?
Yeah, he was really good on the offensive glass. I thought at the end he was in there a lot when we couldn't get the ball either. He has to do a better job at the defensive glass. But you look up, and I think Magoon had 1 or 2 rebounds. Jared had 1 rebound or 2. So our bigs, they're not getting 5, 6, 7, 8 rebounds like they're capable of. So we just have to continue to work and find if we can't get those guys. They're doing it in practice. They're being really aggressive at both ends, rebounding the ball. And Jared's had games where he did rebound, but for whatever reason tonight, it was not our night rebounding. But you play a team like Houston, and that's what they do at an elite level, and we held our own. I think we probably out-rebounded them for the game. So a lot of it's just, you don't know. You scratch your head. You're playing an elite rebounding team, and you rebound with them, and this is a good rebounding team, but you wouldn't think they were any better than Houston on the glass. So some nights you just scratch your head and wonder why the ball doesn't fall in your hands.
Coach, you got a 10-day break. Up to this point in the season, can you talk about what you've seen from your team, where you are at this point? Are you happy at this point where you are record-wise and with how the team is developing?
I think anybody would look at our schedule and see that we were 7-2 with the schedule we played and say it's pretty darn good. And now we can close out the non-conference in a neutral site game with Cal in 10 days and close out our non-conference schedule. And if we found a way to go 8-2, I think that would be spectacular. And it won't be easy. Cal's got a good team, and we'll be playing them up in San Jose. So we'll have a lot of prep time to get ready for that game. And they'll be competitive. It'll be a competitive, hard-fought game.
Besides rebounding, what are some of the things on your to-do list in the next 10 days?
Well, after USD, it would have been offense, but it seems like that's all good now. So next game, we'll be bad offensively and rebound the ball and play defense. So it's coaching. It's got, who knows what it's going to be. Especially with a bunch of young guys, that's what makes it fun and challenging. You get one thing fixed and the next thing breaks and you just keep moving forward. And we always get better, so we'll find a way to get better. But I was pleased with the way we played offensively today. So I was happy with that, going against a team that was getting ready for us for 10 days. I thought we executed really well.
What's the latest on Reese Waters?
I think he's got another X-ray or CT maybe at the end of this week or early next week. We'll just see how the healing's going on. Obviously we're not going to risk Reese further damaging that foot, so we're going to make sure he's healthy before we talk about bringing him back. So we'll have more information maybe in a week.
Have you started thinking about how you will integrate him when he does come back and starts practicing into this team that, like you said, played pretty good offensively and has some pretty good offensive spurts?
Yeah, he's our only first-team all-conference player in the preseason. We're playing pretty good without him, but we'd be better with him. Reese is a gifted player. So I don't really think about it until it presents itself, because even if he gets a clean bill of health in a week or two, he's been in a boot and on a scooter for 8-9 weeks. So how long is it going to take him to get into shape and get a game rhythm back? So that all depends on the athlete and how soon it takes. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But right now, I'm glad we're not talking about, boy, if they just had Reese, they'd be winning these games. We're finding a way to win these games, and just think how much better we'll be when we get Reese.
Coach, you played a team tonight that protects the ball really well. What was the game plan for that? How do you think you guys fared against it?
Yeah, we caused some turnovers. I think they only averaged like 7 turnovers a game, something like that, 7 or 8. But they came off a game, I think, at Central Florida where they had 18 or 19. So I'm sure they worked like crazy to try to take care of the ball. But I think they had more than we did. I think they had 12 or 13. 13, which is over their average. And as good as the guard is Daniels, he had 22 points. But as a coach, when you say he had to take 21 shots to get to 22 points, that's pretty good defense for the most part. So, yeah, he made some spectacular plays, but he didn't have 22 points on 10 shots. He had to take, 21 shots to get 22 points. So that's pretty good defensive effort on a good guard.
One of the things you talked about is other teams shooting more free throws than you, and tonight you reversed that. Has that been an emphasis in practice, and how do you sort of move towards?
I just think it's a byproduct of we're getting downhill to the basket, and still our guards aren't huge, BJ and Nick, and they're not huge physical guards. They're good finishers, but they don't get a lot of calls around the basket sometimes. I think the rolling post is creating issues for teams. And us getting downhill with Byrd and things like that, we're getting some free throws, but we're aggressive going to the rim. It just depends on how the other team, if they're walling up at the end, if we're getting any calls or not. So, but I like the fact we shot more free throws tonight, which is probably the first in a while for us.
Coach, you talked about how great your offense was. Nick Boyd was sensational. I mean, obviously, aside from the free throws that you mentioned earlier, I mean, could you just talk about his game and how he was a floor general, 8 assists, being able to kind of make everyone go?
Yeah, he put up his points, but yet he had 8 assists, which is what we need. You know, someone's got to hit those rolling posts, and he was doing it. He was finding them, and that's good play on his part. You know, I'm sure he's disappointed he missed that one-on-one late in the game, but that happens. And so I know one thing, he'll be the guy first thing in the morning in the gym shooting free throws. Make sure it doesn't happen again. So you win with toughness and you win with character, and we have both of those. So we have high character kids that are tough mentally, and usually that equals success, and we're having pretty good success right now.
You guys get up 19, and they just come roaring back. What happened in the stretch there, and how hairy did that get?
You know, I think we just got to keep our foot on the pedal. I mean, I don't know how much time there was, but probably 7-8 minutes left in the game at that point. You know, I feel like our team got a little content, but you know, I mean, with a team like that, where they play with a lot of confidence and they can shoot the ball well, I think you just gotta stay at it in front of the gas.
Miles, it seems like, you know, kind of a characteristic of Aztec basketball is the ability to wear down teams. And it seemed like in that stretch, that's what happened before, as you say, you took the foot off the gas. Did you see that from this team with so many new players having that ability to do just that, wear down the opposition?
Yeah, I don't think it's really the players. I think it's the culture. And, you know, Dutch has been here for 25 years, and that's what they've been able to do for 25 years. So, I mean, what would it look like for our group to not do the same? So I think that's what we preach day in, day out. And, yeah, I mean, we play hard. So, I mean, you know, if we're matching their intensity in the first half or whatever, we're going to continue same energy. So if they don't do the same, it's going to look like that.
For Miles here, Mosler, what was the game plan to defend a guy like Daniels Jr., one of the top scoring guards in it?
Just try to contain him. I mean, he scores the ball at an insane clip, not to mention how fast he is, low to the ground he is. So, I mean, a player like that, I mean, you're not going to hold him to 0 points, but I think just contain him as much as possible. And I think he got his average, but, you know, some of the other guys didn't get to their average, so I think that's what helped us out.
And for Heide here, the last 2 games for you specifically have been really, really good in terms of scoring, grabbing rebounds, you know, being patient. What does that mean to you in terms of your progression, especially, you know, for the last 2 games from the beginning of the season?
I mean, for the beginning of the season, I just confidence was just there, but the last 2 games, I feel like got my confidence back, and I'm willing to go out there, play my role for the team, and do whatever I can to help us win.
Obviously, wasn't your guys' best rebounding night. What did you see from them, and how is something that, you know, you guys can work on as you're moving forward with that?
I mean, they got a lot of long rebounds on threes. So, I mean, something we do every day is work on rebounding on defense. So that's just something we got to get right back to on Friday. So.
And you know, you obviously had a lot of offensive rebounds. They had a lot of them, right? And but then for you guys, you know, you had a lot of key ones. What do you think that does for the team in those moments when you're able to pick up those key big offensive rebounds?
I mean, off the offensive side, it's just like more momentum, you know, more team boost. I mean, it gets like the stadium loud, so they're definitely big plays as well. So yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
This isn't the first time you guys have struggled on the boards this season. What do you think the issue is there? You have more size than you did last year. You've shown some games you can rebound. But what do you think that the issue is?
I mean, yeah.
I think it's a maturity thing. You know, it's not like we didn't come into this game preaching that we had the offense. I mean, they literally had on the whiteboard before the game that they had 3 guys that literally would lead our team in offensive rebounding. So, I mean, we knew they were going to be a good offensive rebounding team. I think in the second half they got a good stretch where they got too many in a row, which we got to limit. And I think it's just at the end of the day concentration and focusing and boxing out your man.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Just like be able to concentrate, focus on boxing out your guy. You know, not taking plays off is the biggest thing.
Miles, you had a stretch, you hit your first 4 threes, you had the big slam dunk, the crowd got into it. Talk about what it's like when you're feeling it and you're hitting shots like that. You must think that every one of them is going to go in every time.
Yeah, no, basketball is just really fun when that's happening. You know, I think I do enough work when I'm not in a game time situation to where situations like that should happen. And, you know, it's my goal to make them happen more often than not.
Miles, you had that one behind the back pass that obviously was converted. Huge play. In the offseason, do you have to tell them, like, I got this in my bag, I can do this, and kind of prepare them for those moments, or does it just come naturally?
I say it comes naturally. I mean, I was driving right, and I seen that their big man came up on me, so, I mean, it was kind of a blind pass. I mean, I trust P's hands. P has some of the greatest hands on our team, so just be able to get it to him in space and be able to finish it.
You guys have had a stretch here where you played a lot of games, maybe 6 games in a couple weeks here. How much are you looking forward to that break and be able to focus on yourselves instead of game planning for others?
I think it'll be good. You know, obviously we're talking about rebounding, so that's the thing we're gonna go back to for those 10 days that we got off. It's just all the little things that we can tweak and get better at every single day. So
I just can't wait to have some days off where we can rest our bodies, you know. That stretch, you know, we were playing a lot of physical teams, so, I mean, we're all beat up. So, I mean, I think the 10-day stretch is going to give us the opportunity to come back with more urgency and more effort, you know, after this break.